Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonfireTools.com, is brought to you by Amsoil, the first in synthetics, Campbell's Custom Care, your detail specialist, and by Rhino Rack, make space for adventure.
This is Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonfireTools.com, and this is a 1964 Impala SS, right at the dawn of the muscle car era. And you could get a car like this with one of 7 different engines, including the famous 409 that the Beach Boys told us all about. But this is cool. It's a 327 with a 4 on the floor, super hard to find. In 1964, good music was not so hard to find. You had the Supremes, you had the Rolling Stones making hits, and of course you had this little combo out of Liverpool, the Fab Four, making some pretty good music too. The problem was, if you wanted to take that great music with you in the car, the experience was not so great. Usually one speaker on the dash, maybe one on the rear deck. And if you upgraded, you got one in each door, if you were lucky, and if you were rich. Most of the music was coming at you on an AM station, and the sound was, well, let's face it was lousy. So these days, when you're restoring or upgrading your classic car, you want to enjoy the experience. And a lot of folks are adding air conditioning, disc brakes, even a new chassis to their cars. And of course, they want their music and their Bluetooth just like they have in their car today. And to get that, you need a modern stereo, but you've seen how an old car looks with a new stereo. It's modern looking stereo and it's got all the lights and everything, and it's totally out of place on that vintage dash. But thanks to Custom Autosound, you can honor the integrity of your car's vintage looks, and you can have all the bells and whistles of a brand new high-end radio. Custom Autosound has head units and speakers that sound amazing, and they look just like the original radios that came from your car when it was brand new. And with the Custom Autosound radio, you can have Bluetooth, you can have your MP3 player, satellite radio, and even hook up a CD player as well. This is not a generic radio made to look cool. These are high quality units that are durable and they're made to last. Now, first of all, Custom Autosound's radios and speakers are made at the same factories that make some of the world's finest audio equipment. And every Custom Autosound model undergoes extreme temperature testing, a temperature aging test, and of course the ever important vibration test, because the more power you're making, the more you are shaking. And you need a radio that's going to survive those kind of conditions. So every single Custom Autosound radio is hand inspected and adjusted by a technician before it gets shipped to the customer or to the dealer. Custom Autosound has a huge variety of radios and speakers to fit your budget and made to specifically fit your vehicle. In fact, they have 4 different models of in-dash radios, including the slide bar radio. This is cool. With the slide bar radio, you get a radio that looks just like an old analog radio when it's turned off. And when you slide the bar and turn it on, you get a digital display that lets you control every function of your radio. If you have a street rod or a classic and you want to leave the original radio in the dash but still get great sound and modern features, the secret audio radio is for you. Check this out. The unit hides usually under a seat or behind the dashboard, and you get your Bluetooth, your AM/FM radio, iPod control, CD control, and it integrates perfectly with your speaker system. And oh, by the way, speakers, yep, Custom Autosound speakers are great too. From subwoofers to kick panels, to door-mounted speakers, to universal speakers, even speakers that secretly hide away under a seat or somewhere under the dash, Custom Autosound has you covered there too. Everything from Custom Autosound is made to sound great, it's made to last, and of course it's made to look just like it came with your classic vehicle back when it was new. And when it comes to installation, Custom Autosound has thought of everything. First of all, you got to make sure you disconnect your car's battery whenever you're messing with the vehicle's electrical system, or you might get a little jolt, kind of unpleasant. Now, once the old radio is out, it's time to get to work, and Custom Autosound makes that easy. All of the connections are color-coded and they are labeled. Wiring harnesses, Bluetooth connections, aux cables, speaker outputs, power cables, even the power antenna cable, that is labeled too. It's literally just plug and play once it's time to put it in. Now, getting into the dash is always a little bit tricky, but it's nothing a little patience can't overcome, so go slowly. First, you make all of your connections, and again, they are color-coded and labeled, so that makes it simple. In this Impala, our build team had an easy job. They were actually able to slide it up underneath the dash. There was no factory air or anything to get around there, so that's a good thing. It might take some wiggling, and you might have to finagle it a bit, but once you get the radio in there, you can run a few nuts down on the posts. That'll lock the unit into place. And of course, the kit includes some washers in case you need those as well for spacing. So you got your nuts, washers, and then the knobs, and those look period correct for your particular car, and you are ready to rock and roll. And this radio looks great in this Impala, and you'll find one that looks perfect in your vehicle too. because Custom Autosound makes radios for 400 different models of cars. Do not compromise. Get the great looks your car deserves and all the features you want in a stereo system today. Just use the drop-down to find the right unit for your car, or even a universal radio if you're building a street rod or a custom car. Cruising is better with music, and music is better and better looking with a stereo from CustomAutosound.com. So run to the web, type that in, and find the unit that is right for you. But don't run just yet, because we've got more Motorhead Garage presented by Dragonfire Tools coming up. Stay tuned.